Hello again, friends. Welcome back to the Dan Mabry Project. This episode is with Zack Kirksey. Zack is someone who I've known about for a very long time. We actually attended West Monroe High School at the same time, and I knew who he was, and he was the senior when I was a freshman, and he was always this figure. But in the past couple of years, we've interacted a lot on Twitter and Instagram and social media and whatnot, and we have a lot of similar taste in music. And he's always stood out to me on Twitter because he is not afraid of anyone, and we referenced that a couple times in the podcast. But as you can tell, this one's the longest one so far, and it was an absolute blast. We had a great time from the minute he walked in the door, and he was fired up to be there, and I was fired up for him to be there, and we pretty much ran through his life, basically like the last 20 or so years, high school and his collegiate baseball career, and into getting drafted and pursuing golf there for a little while, and what's he's up to now. So Zach's a great storyteller, and he did an incredible job of explaining his story and telling some funny stories along the way. So I had a lot of fun doing this, and definitely look forward to Zach coming back in the future. So I really appreciate your subscription to this podcast. That helps me get closer to possibly getting sponsored, or this is an ad-free podcast. So if you feel so inclined to, donate, I do have a Patreon down below, and my Venmo is always open. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Have some stickers if you want some. Hit me up on Instagram, and y'all follow Zach on Twitter and Instagram. He's a hoot. And I'm just going to leave it at that and let us do the rest of the talking. So enjoy this one, because I sure did. Peace.
Talks about interdimensional demons. He's an idiot.
Do you follow Barstool very much?
I used to follow it a lot. I still do. I still kind of do.
Yeah, but you're aware like Big Cat and PFT.
Yeah.
So like PFT does like a skit where he acts like it's so funny.
Yeah.
But I think we'll jump into it.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
All right. Hello world, back again. Zack Kirksey. Zach and I attended high school at the same time. I won't say we went to high school together because
put him in a locker a couple times.
Funny story. Last year, I believe that West Monroe was all integrated, all students. The year after that, the freshmen had their own wing.
And is it for me right there?
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet. I got the big one. You get the small one. Okay, let's do it. That's way better. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're good. But so at that point in time at West Monroe High School, ESPN was there, and there's a show following that year of football for us called Varsity Inc.
Varsity Stink.
Varsity Stink, yeah. It was pretty bad from the intro song to the very last scene, in my opinion. But
King of the Stadium.
Yeah, that was like looking back on it.
Yeah.
At that point in my life, like I still had glasses, like never had put contacts in my eyes, was a straight soccer player, just like scaredest kid in the world.
Yeah.
And obviously I did not know you, and you were still a human being, but you were idolized to me at that point in time, just because like you were one of the seniors that was on the TV and all that stuff.
And same for when I was a freshman too. The guys that were seniors, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah,
so big.
Yeah, those guys are cool.
When I was a freshman, I was just a little baby, man. Just a little baby. So I get it. Like that, I was the same way with guys that were seniors whenever I was a freshman.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously after that, you went on to play some junior college ball and some college ball, and we'll get into more of that in a minute. But I guess we'll start out in high school. Like you were a football and baseball player?
Yeah, football and baseball. I played golf, but just baseball was obviously more important. It got to where I couldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I played golf when I was a freshman and sophomore.
Okay.
I played soccer in middle school, and I really wanted to play in high school too. I liked it. Really just good conditioning, running up and down. I wasn't any good.
No doubt.
But I like to play as many sports as possible. It's good. It's good. Nowadays you see kids like all they do is play baseball, which I get it. You got to play a lot to be good.
Yeah.
But you're losing a little bit of your athletic ability if you're not also mixing in some different sports.
Well, I mean, as a kid, like you just get washed out. You
Yeah,
get burned out, I should say, not washed out. But yeah, you just get overdo it sometimes, I think. But yeah, I guess when did you pick up sports? I mean, obviously it's still, you're still an athlete and still pursuing bettering yourself and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I guess when did you?
Man,
how did all that start? When did you start that drive kind of deal?
So, let's see. One of the first memories I have as a kid, honestly, I was in the backyard of this man named Jimmy Nelson. Jimmy Nelson was a professional scout for the Braves, the Mets, maybe the Orioles for a little bit. He's been around the baseball forever.
Yeah. And
then on Sundays, he would put on these clinics. But anyways, back to Jimmy's backyard. I was probably 3, maybe 4 years old. Probably 3 because 4 you're playing t-ball, so I wasn't even playing yet. And I remember my older brother was doing work with Jimmy, and they were working on some stuff, and I'm just sitting there throwing a ball and swinging a bat around, being a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And that was really one of the first memories I had.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I've been playing baseball ever since, and honestly, I played pretty much just baseball until I was in 4th grade. So that would make me 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And basically, in a nutshell, my dad had thought that I was a little bit soft for as a kid.
Okay.
Which, like any young kid, you're just a soft little kid.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to get thrown into the fire.
No doubt.
So he signs me up for football, and I remember going to. It was weird. It was weird because I went to OCS at the time.
Okay.
But I played for Claiborne. I don't know how they did that.
Grandma's address.
Yeah, man. So I'm playing for Claiborne and Stacy Walpole. I always remember Anthony Walpole.
Yeah.
Great offensive lineman.
Yeah, for sure.
But his dad, I get there, and he's this big dude, man. He was so big, And, first day of practice, I got the pads and helmet on, and I'm just lost. And I'm getting thumped. And I realized pretty quickly that I don't like this.
Yeah.
So, after getting, my shit kicked in for about, 10 minutes, Stacy grabs me and was like, "Hey, Zach, it's better to give than to receive." So, we start learning how to tackle, and the next thing you know, turn into a little football player.
Yeah, for sure. And that was, you were able to pursue both sports, or I guess 3 sports.
Basically, I started playing football, and Dad was right. It'll make you more aggressive.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a war,
No doubt.
It's a gladiator sport. So you have to develop a little bit of mentality where you're going to be an asshole. You're going to be a prick. You gotta be mean.
Yeah.
Screw
that guy in front of you.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Put him on the ground.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in my way.
For sure.
So, and that did definitely make me a better baseball player.
Yeah, you're just not afraid of getting hit with the ball anymore, I would imagine. To some degree.
Not even that. It's just like, dude, you're not getting me out.
Yeah.
Dude, you're not.
Just that ability to grit your teeth.
That grit, that grit.
Yeah, no doubt.
A little tenacity too, yeah.
For sure.
And that helps in anything in life, Sometimes you just got to be, hard, David Goggins. I don't know if I'm sure you have. Yeah, I've read his book. Have you read his book yet?
I haven't.
Oh man, it's great. Actually, do it on Audible if you do check it out.
Okay.
Because he'll do a chapter. And then he doesn't read it because he's got this weird raspy voice.
Yeah.
Somebody else narrates it or reads it, and then they'll finish a chapter, and then the guy reading it and David will talk about it.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of extra dialogue, and you get to hear David's spin on some things.
Okay.
But basically it's just. Sometimes you just got to be a hard motherfucker.
For sure. I've heard about him and Jocko for a while.
Yeah.
And I just started following both of them, and
never
great, have I ever wanted to wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
Dude.
But now I kind of want to.
Oh man, I can't. I'm trying to get in the morning workouts. I feel my mood is better throughout the day if I do it.
For sure.
But it's just getting up at 6, man.
No doubt.
So, but anyways, back to sports. Played, and I was one of the better kids growing up. Get to high school, freshman year, at this time, I was 16, and like, some 16-year-olds are ahead of others. And if I had to, I guess, size me up, I was probably a little bit behind some of the guys my age. Some of them are just, once you get in that puberty stage, who develops quicker is usually the better athlete.
No doubt.
And I played my freshman year, and I started, but I didn't make varsity, which didn't bother me. One of the reasons why I didn't was that the football team wanted me to come play football in the spring football.
Yeah.
Not that I was any good. It's just that why not come get some reps?
For sure.
So if there's some kid out there that's a freshman, going in and doesn't make the varsity team, it's gonna be okay.
No doubt.
But so that happened, and then sophomore year, play again, and my sophomore year was pretty influential. A lot of things happened around this time between my sophomore and junior year. Everybody in their life has moments that really, I guess, change your course on where you're going. Whether it be something positive, like maybe your first girlfriend or first sexual experience, or something religious where, you really, gave your life to God. And it could be negative too. It could be negative, like maybe a divorce, maybe an accident where somebody else maybe didn't walk away from it, or, anything. And these things really changed your path. One of the things that changed mine was obviously I was dating a girl, first real girlfriend, and I really liked her. Like everybody thinks that she's the one.
For sure.
Everyone's the one until they're not. But so we break up. Turns out she was cheating on me with a guy, and I didn't like that very much. So let's see. I think I was a party at my house, and I'm just getting hammered on Mike's Hard Lemonade because I'm 16 or 17, and
Sparks.
Yeah, man.
You remember Sparks?
No, that was after my time.
I was about to say that was my
that was probably
later
your
high
senior
school.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Four Locos. I'm glad I never got into that, but that's another story.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I get tanked, and somehow this dude found out that I was talking shit to him, or talking shit about him, which I was. I mean, why? You'd be nice to you, dude.
You were angry.
You're looking at my girl, man.
For sure.
Supposed to give you a high five.
Yeah.
She did text like, "Congrats, dude.
You won."
Yeah, bro, you beat me. So, he calls me and he's like, "I'll beat your ass." I was like, "Oh, okay." And, for some reason, and I'm not going to name any names, but it was some kids over at St. Fred's. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not scared of anybody that went to St. Fred's. And nobody should ever be.
Zach,
anybody.
looking at your Twitter, I don't think you're scared of anybody.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter.
No doubt.
But, so, I'm like, everybody's like, let's go over there and beat them up. I'm like, no, I got this. I'm going by myself. So, for some reason, my older sister took me over there.
Okay.
And they gave me the address and everything. And I guess they really didn't think I was going to come.
Right.
But I came. And I pull up, go in this house, and it was perfect. The dude was literally right in front of me, And I just crow hopped and I popped him, dude. I got him so good, man. I will never hit anybody more clean than that.
Yeah.
He goes to the ground. Next thing I know, all his friends jump on me. I get thrown into what I think was a bird cage. Like I said, I was drunk when all this was happening.
Yeah.
I think I knocked over a lamp. It was a house party, and the person's parents were there, so they're trying to get me. They were trying to like forcibly grab me and get me to stay there, so they could call the police, I believe.
Gotcha.
Because I guess you could probably make the case that I was breaking and entering.
Right.
But hey,
Not to
man,
mention you
don't be
punched
talking
their son
shit,
in the
dude.
face.
Don't be talking shit and stealing my women.
No doubt.
So,
No doubt.
he ended up getting out of there somehow. And somehow, whether they called me or whether they just yelled it out, meet me at Little Cuba. I don't know if you know where Little Cuba Park is. It's over in Monroe, right there in that nice little River Oaks neighborhood.
For sure.
So I'm like, all right, we'll do this again. First time around was pretty good, So he pulls up and actually I say him and about 40 other dudes pull up, and next thing I know, we're going at it again. Next thing I know, it goes to the ground. He's on top of me, And he hit me a few times, but then the next thing I know, I'm just getting booted in the side of my head by dudes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just remember getting kicked in the side of the head, and everything was just like, it was like shell shock. In the movies where a bomb goes off and the guy's, ears are all, beeping or whatever,
Right.
ringing. And I got my bell rung. I definitely got CTE from that for sure. There's definitely brain cells not coming back.
No doubt.
But I got my ass beat, and that I made a promise to myself after that it wasn't going to happen again. And my next step in life was something that I don't know if I would have done it, or maybe I would have done it anyways. But I made the decision that that's not going to happen again. I'm going to get bigger and stronger. I'm going to make sure that if it ever happens again, I'm the one that's beating the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And I did, something that I'm not proud of, but it's something that's so influential to my story and changed the landscape of my life. I was able to get a hold of steroids. And it's not something that was rare to West Monroe or any high school in general.
Yeah.
It gets stuck with West Monroe a lot because of the success they have.
Right.
There's guys at Reston High that do it. There's guys at Neville that do it. There's guys at St. Augustine, at Rummel, at any high school. I promise you, it's there. This stuff is not. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So from there, I went from a 170-pound kid that was a good athlete. Some would say like a bubble athlete, like a kid that could be really, really good, but he's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
And I went from a 170-pound kid to a 220-pound man throughout the next year.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, sports are pretty easy.
So were you doing Casey Sanders workouts? Were you like doing stuff on top of that?
I would still do some other stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff's incredible. It really is.
Yeah.
I feel it is addictive in a different way, like at a different drug. Luckily for me, I had to quit for sports.
Yeah.
Because you get drug tested.
Right.
So I had to quit at a certain point. But I see kids now, and I try and talk to them. It's like, hey, man, look, you're 22 years old. All you're doing is going to school, and you're doing this stuff, and it's really not healthy. You can really screw yourself up.
Right.
And I know people who have. I know guys that are my age that are on TRT. Because of past steroid use, and fortunately, God had His hand on me, and I don't have any issues. But you do it wrong, you do it the wrong way, you can definitely screw yourself up.
That was like always a rumor that like you were doing steroids.
Yeah.
But is that something that is that something your parents knew about?
Oh, well, look, man, you go from 170 to 220,
right.
It's just,
right.
and yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Right.
But not the way I was looking.
Right.
I was, I went from benching 190 pounds to, 330.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah. But like you said, you were able to, I guess you mentioned the addiction side of it.
Yeah.
You referring to like just like your physical appearance and like how you feel and recovery time and all that kind of stuff.
You just the recovery time. It's just you're on another level. There's no ceiling.
Yeah.
I know that you go and work out, and after an hour, it's like I'm done. I'm cashed. On that stuff, you can just keep on going, and then if you want to, you can take a break, and then 3, 4, 5 hours later, do it again.
Yeah. Have another round of it. Yeah.
So, the recovery, the strength, the stamina, all of it. It's addicting. And you also, obviously you look good. You feel good. You're confident. And, but yeah, it's definitely something that's mentally addicting. And, I think it's a problem. And it got real bad. And fortunately I never went down this path, but they started making what they call designer drugs, designer steroids, pro hormones, things like that.
All right.
And those, what they do is they basically would take a steroid molecule and then switch a few carbons, and it creates this new drug that reacts in a different way.
That just doesn't sound good.
No, and it's not FDA. The FDA can't test it quick enough. And somehow they're able to put it on the shelves. And if you're 18, or if your dad goes in there and can get it for you.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of guys that took these over the counter that you get at, different supplement stores. I don't want to name any because I don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
They don't have the proper drugs to take with it. The aromatase inhibitors, because you're going to have estrogen that goes up.
Right.
So then kids develop bitch tits, gynecomastia.
Yeah.
So then they're self-conscious about that. They got to have surgery to go in there to take the tissue out.
Yeah.
Or their testosterone levels never come back to normal. And then you got to get on TRT.
Well, and you mentioned God had his hand on you whenever you were able to get out of it and kind of get away scotch-free. But it kind of sounds like maybe you were doing it right. Somebody had the right information.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be with a friend of mine. We did it together. He's actually a doctor now. He's a very, very smart guy. He knew all about it.
Yeah.
And I was able to do it the right way. We had a good source. We got good stuff. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah, yeah.
But
and something else you mentioned, about 20-year-old kids today, like you mentioned all the stuff on the shelves. Like I feel like at the point in time where you were pursuing these goals, like
that
compared to now, like there's just a million different options and different ways, and I just feel, obviously you're a MMA fan to some degree.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear about it a lot there.
Yeah, and the stuff that started blowing my mind is like when all this John Jones stuff came out, and they started talking about like this stuff that's totally clean is also made in the same building as the stuff that's dirty, and so like this stuff just kind of floats over sometimes.
Yeah, that was always kind of a rumor whenever guys were failing tests. I'm only taking creatine. Well,
right.
They may be making D-ball in the same vat. But processed later on, there's still some left in there and may get in there. Yeah. But I think that's kind of BS. I think they were probably taking it and got caught. Yeah. Tainted supplements. I mean, look. So there's whenever I was playing, jumping ahead a long way, but on the same subject, when I was playing with the Detroit Tigers. Basically, there's what they called NSF approved. I'm not sure what NSF means, but basically it guaranteed that you can take this and you'll never fail a drug test.
Gotcha.
Now, the NSF stuff sucks. It's not any good, but you won't fail.
Right. Right.
But let's jump back to high school.
Yeah.
I went from a good athlete to a really good athlete to potentially great athlete. Singles turned into doubles turned into home runs turned into really, really far home runs. And it got really easy. And, next thing you know, I'm one of the better players on the baseball team, one of the better players on the football team. Yeah. And then varsity ink happens. Yeah. So I remember it was we were doing summer workouts, and we had heard some rumors about a TV show, but we weren't really sure about what it was. And they came in and they interviewed, I think, all of the senior class. And then they obviously picked a few, and then we got selected for the show. Right. And at first it was like, first off, I mean, if I'm being honest, I enjoyed it, the popularity, the fame that came with it. For sure. It was fun, but it really, really wasn't like something that I wanted to do. But it happened anyways, and it being one of the featured players on the show, and it was cool. You get to be on the intro to the show. It's on national television and all that. But
with your frat swoop,
yeah, I had that terrible haircut. Looking back, I'm like, that's all that good hair, and it's like you couldn't have done better than that. And it's like, why don't you just like pick up a magazine, dude, and like see how Ryan Gosling got his haircut?
Pick up a men's style magazine for once.
Yeah. What were you doing? I'm still wearing Abercrombie like a douche. That's another thing too. Just juice to the gills and wearing Abercrombie. It's not a good look.
Wearing mediums.
Yeah. 08. Oh, I still wear mediums. 08. 08 was a bad fashion year for me.
Man, looking back on all that stuff, like middle school, early high school for me, like walk into Hollister right now.
It's still open?
I don't even know.
I don't think it is.
But
man.
just like
I think Hollister's done.
those places,
I think they sent all those shirts to Tahiti or
they're
Africa.
just
or
gross,
something.
and just like reeks of cologne in
yeah,
there.
the worst. It's like the opposite of Victoria's Secret.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You walk in there and it smells good. There's good pictures on the wall.
I guess I haven't been able to go in there. I haven't had the opportunity.
You got to go buy some gift cards, dude. Just pass them out to your lady guests.
Wow.
That's how you get the hot chicks on here.
Incredible idea.
Look, $50, Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
Come on, girl.
Yeah, I'll cook you breakfast
Get
too.
you that Victoria's Secret hitter. But so yeah, Varsity Inc. happens, and we start doing the filming, and it's annoying as hell. I'm waking up in the morning. First thing I do, there's certain times where they wanted to film me just doing mundane things like brushing my teeth or whatever, and
you're mic'd up the whole time.
Mic'd up, eating breakfast. There's a boom mic hanging over me, and all this kind of stuff, and follow me around class. I'm trying to. And it's just a sideshow. Yeah. The teacher's trying to teach. There's a dude with the camera. There's a dude walking around filming other students. And I mean, how can you ask a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid to act normal when that's going on? Because that's not normal.
No, not at all.
But
well, and that was my kind of first impression of like walking into high school. I'd never been in high school. Like that was scary enough. And then like bunch of people around the halls with cameras and microphones and stuff, and it's like, what's really going on right here? Like, I always thought that was kind of weird and confusing as well.
Yeah. So anyways, we go through the season, and I believe, I can't remember when the first episode came out. It was in November, and I can't remember if we had already lost yet or not. I don't think we had.
I don't think we had
either. But
it came out on my birthday. I know that, November 30th.
Yeah, we hadn't lost in.
Yeah,
I think it may have been the week before or 2 weeks before. But so we had this big watch party at I don't know if you remember Blake and Brandon Bordelon.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Blake's one of my best friends. Awesome guy. But they had a really, really nice house set up for. They had a big TV room and they had these TV couches and whatnot. So it was pretty easy to, get everybody together there and watch the show.
Right.
And, so my parents were there. All of my best friends' parents were there. My girlfriend's there. My girlfriend's parents were there. And we all sit down and the show comes on, and it's, the Jamboree against Neville, which was fun. It was awesome to play Neville again. Yeah. I think that was the first time in probably over a decade, I believe.
Yeah, I do remember that.
We won the game, which is good because losing would have been bad.
No doubt.
But when they started airing the episode, I realized pretty quickly that the way the picture they were painting of me was not very good. Okay. I was the big white kid, the spoiled white kid. And they made me look like a racist. Like there was a scene. It really aggravated me. And then they just showed me cursing all the time. Yeah. And throwing shit. Yeah. So this is not. And like I said, sometimes you got to be a mean person. Yeah. But I'm not always mean. Right. And just sometimes. Yeah. So anyways, I remember there was a scene where, and this didn't even happen in the game. They made it seem like they pulled Shelby out of being the starting quarterback and put in DJ. Okay. And as soon as they see DJ run on the field, DJ Banks, right? Which you need to have him on your podcast.
Yeah,
too.
No doubt.
But he's growing on the field, and it just cuts to me, and I'm just cursing, cursing up a storm on the sidelines, and it makes me look like I'm pissed off he's going in, and I remember right then that they got to make a show. They got to make a narrative, but I did not like how it went from there. Yeah, and obviously the show stunk. Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Well, I just remember like one of the opening scenes, like they're just showing like rundown buildings and like just swamps and stuff. And
that's
it's like,
true. Yeah,
that is a part of our town to some degree, but like far and away not the most popular places to be.
They made it seem like it was a real podunk town with low class white people. They wanted to paint a racial divide, which we have enough of that today.
No doubt.
It's gotten so bad now. But but yeah, it did nothing. It did no favors for anybody on the show. Didn't do anything for the players. Didn't do anything for the program. And all in all, I would probably say it's more of an embarrassment than a good memory.
Yeah.
And if I could go back in time, I think everybody would say no.
For sure.
But
especially
I did get to meet Soulja Boy.
I was about to say, especially to Soulja Boy.
Dude, he gave the worst. So I remember he came on the bus because let's see, we were loading up to go to Barbecue West.
Okay.
And did y'all still eat there?
Pre-game meal. Yeah. Well, they brought it to us.
Okay, nice. Well, at the time we would go there. And I remember Soulja Boy came on there, and I think Soulja Boy was younger than all of us,
Okay.
And he gave a pretty lackluster pump-up speech. It was bad.
Yeah.
Wearing those stupid glasses. But yeah.
Dude, I'll never forget that day because I was on the soccer team at that point in time, and I was at soccer practice down on the football field, and one of the seniors, Jacob Darden.
Yeah, I remember Jacob.
So Darden is like talking to our coach, Chris Barron.
Yeah, I know Chris.
And he says, Coach, Trey Long.
Trey,
yeah,
not Coach Trey.
No, Trey said that Soulja Boy's here, and Barron's like, I don't care, like whatever, like we're having practice.
Yeah,
and we were like moving goals from Boley down to the field or something, and we got done, and Darden walks over to him and he says, "Look, Barron," he's like, "We're going to see Soulja Boy, okay? And if you cut all of us, then so be it. But I'm taking the whole team with me, and we're going to the pep rally." And so we showed up to the pep rally in our soccer shorts and cleats and stuff. And sure enough, Soulja Boy came out about 2 minutes later. I mean, we walked in.
That's the night we lost.
Lost in the second round for third or fourth year in a row.
I was pretty pissed. I was pretty pissed about that because they had a really good offense. And from, dude, I just remember the guys on our offense saying, "Look, you guys hold them to 21, we're going to win by 3 touchdowns." And that didn't happen. We lost 19-15 or 19-17.
I don't even know.
So we did our job.
Yeah.
I just remember there was one play where Clowers fell down. He was playing corner. He fell down, and his guy was wide open, obviously. He scored. I was like, shit, man. I just remember I was I played D end and outside linebacker, so I was on a trying to get to the quarterback, and I just remember turning around and looking, and I see this guy running. There's nobody next to him. And I look over to my left further, and there's Clowers on the ground. Like, what are you doing?
Hey, man.
And then obviously the safety wasn't doing anything over the top, but yeah. Anyways, we lost.
There's another memory of Varsity Inc. that always sticks out.
Let's hear it. Because I tried to forget everything.
Klingon.
Oh, Jonathan Klingon.
Getting stuck in the bathroom.
Honestly, a pretty good kicker.
He was.
Pretty good kicker.
He was.
And, I will say this to his defense. It was like 45-0.
Yeah.
So he was just like, dude, I'm going to take a piss or shit or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
It's fun. So my senior year, Bo Benson. We split kicks together to some degree. He did a bunch of kickoffs, and I did all the extra points.
Okay.
We're at Pineville, and we're up 40-0, and they got stopped on third down, and Coach Hunt starts calling for a field goal, and I look down, and Bo is messing with little Sanders, little Nick Sanders, because he was the ball boy at the time, and I just ran out on the field. Literally never checked up, never asked if I could, just ran out on the field and kicked a 40-yard field goal, never even knew how far it was. Ended up being my career long. It was hilarious. But yeah, that's my claim to fame as far as kickers go. So you graduate high school and decided to pursue baseball?
Yeah, so I knew when I was probably a junior that if I was going to play college sports, it was going to be baseball.
Okay.
Reason being, once you hit a few guys that are going to play college football, you realize pretty quickly that they're all going to be like him, and you know what? It's not as fun.
Yeah.
It's only fun when they're smaller than you are. So I didn't think football was for me. Plus, good thing, I already had CTE once from getting my head kicked in.
Right.
Probably don't need to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So, chose baseball and, played at West Monroe. Lost the state championship my junior year. we went on a phenomenal run.
I was about to say I knew that there was a good time there of baseball, but I didn't remember.
We won like 34 games straight, and I think the team at West Monroe this past year won 34 straight too, and they lost the state championship to I can't remember who it was, but
similar fashion, I guess.
Yeah, kind of eerie.
Yeah.
We had a really really good team those 2 years. I think my class ended up having 9 guys play Division I baseball, or 9 guys offered Division I scholarships.
Okay.
At some point now, Coach Mark Sims, looking back throughout my career and the baseball knowledge I have now, was definitely probably one of the better baseball coaches that ever coached me. One thing you realize looking back, the coach you had when you were, a freshman or whenever you were doing a travel ball, they actually didn't know anything. So thank you for being there. We appreciate it. But, maybe just put a ball on the tee and don't teach anybody.
Right. Yeah.
But, I
always like think that's interesting, especially whenever like dad is coaching son or daughter, and it's like, bro, you hadn't run a mile in a couple of years, like much less throwing a baseball.
Yeah. I can't wait to have kids or a son and get to, I guess, give him all the knowledge I have through athletics.
For sure.
Because, my dad did the best he could, but he didn't know. He played basketball. I didn't touch a basketball.
Yeah.
So, anyways, ended up choosing baseball, like I said. And, I was really, really good, and I didn't know how good I was.
I mean,
just knew
obviously
that I was good.
you spoke about like your hitting, but
that was my biggest thing.
Right.
And when, they rank you on this. It's an 80 scale in baseball. 80 being the highest. I think 30s or 20s the lowest.
Okay.
But I was up there. I was rated by MLB scouts as a guy who could hit 30 plus home runs. So that's top tier power.
Yeah.
And that's where I was at. I mean, I know you can ask Mark Sims right now. He'll tell you I hit the old junior high.
Okay.
I hit it.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
That is a long way.
I don't even think it's there anymore, but it was a long way.
That's a solid football field in between the baseball field and the junior high.
It's definitely 500 something feet.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Those old bats were great. So, had a good high school career, but I didn't get any offers out of high school. And there's reasons for that. Number one, in high school, you only play 30 something games.
Yeah.
You go look at there's Perfect Game, which is kind of like the 247 for football.
Mm-hmm.
And they rank these players, and they basically, these colleges is pretty lazy, but they just recruit off of that. I guess they don't have time to pick up the phone and call coaches. They can just get this list and then go from there.
Yeah.
So a lot of our guys, because football is so dominant, we just played football in the fall. Everybody else, the kids from Orlando, the kids from Dallas, they're all playing fall baseball. They're all getting noticed by these bigger schools. They're getting scholarships. Us, we're playing 30 games in the summer or spring,
mm-hmm.
and then we got summer football practice.
Yeah.
So our exposure, we just had to get lucky. If somebody would see us,
So you were you not playing travel baseball or anything like that?
No, we didn't do all
really?
that. Now, so basically how I got picked up was my junior year. I would go to these showcases in the summer. They would have them, they had one at West Monroe. They had one over, I believe, at Bird or Captain Shreve in Shreveport.
Okay.
Went to showcase down at LSU Eunice, where we ended up going. And basically it's where I got noticed, and that's where I was able to get the opportunity to play college baseball. It's
at
really
LSUE.
LSU Eunice. Cool ass place. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But finished up at West Monroe, and I remember walking into Mark Sims' office, and Mark Sims played very high level minor league baseball. Never made it to the show. From what I was told, he was a AAA guy that was knocking on the door and just never got his opportunity.
Wow.
And dude, I can't blame the guy. He seemed pretty sour about it. He had the mentality that if you're good enough, it's going to happen.
Right.
I don't need to do anything for you. Which, you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. If that's the case, eventually you could be good enough. But it would be nice for you to pick up the phone and say, hey, Coach Semino at Tech or Paul Maneri or whoever it is, I got a dude here who's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that could strike some interest. And next thing you know, you're going to a Division I out of high school.
At least somebody's hearing your name or
right.
something.
So, I mean, we could have my group, Caleb Flowers, we were a very heavy baseball class.
Yeah.
Caleb, Les, Justin Broadnax, me, Colin Browder, Stephen Newman, and then the younger guys, Blake Brazel, Jeff Fuller.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, who else? Not Cade Stone. We had a center fielder that Corey Underwood. He was a senior when you were in 8th grade.
Yep.
But we all played.
I'm aware who he is.
We all played college baseball.
Corey White.
Corey White. Yeah, Corey
White was
Tech.
in there. Yeah,
he was a good outfielder.
Which I guess he went to West Washita or something. He didn't go to West Monroe.
Corey White did. Yeah.
He did? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he transferred.
I don't know.
But,
I hung out with Corey in high school, but
he may have gone his senior year. That's something Corey would do. So yeah, I actually walked on. I didn't get a scholarship. I walked on to LSUE, and it's crazy. We had what they call, pro days. You know? So in JUCO, you are draft eligible that year, whereas you go to Division I, you're either draft eligible if you're 21 after a certain date or a junior. So if you go to a 4-year school, you're there for pretty much 3 years.
Yeah.
And you can't get drafted.
Yeah.
Not the case for JUCO. You can get drafted as a freshman. So, show up on campus, move in. 3-4 days later, we have a pro day. Basically, you run a 60. You hit BP. You throw from the outfield if you're an outfielder. If you're an infielder, you field ground balls. You throw across the diamond. Not much to it. It's just a lot of sitting around and, waiting. But,
basic skills.
So at this time, I'd slimmed down to a nice lean 205.
Okay.
I remember we were going on our senior trip, and I was like, I'm going to look really good. So got down to 205, and I played summer ball. This is before I got to college. I played summer ball for a collegiate team. And we went all over the country. Played in Georgia in a Wood Bat World Series. Played against Bryce Harper whenever he was like 16.
Wow.
He was like the same size as me, except for he was probably like 6'3".
Yeah.
Played up in Cincinnati. And all these places were playing all these, badass teams. And, I played first base at the time. And, guys right now, I'm chit-chatting with these dudes when they're down there. And, where are you going to school? Oh, I'm going to Clemson, or I'm going to Texas, or I'm going to LSU or Ole Miss or Alabama, yada, yada. And I'm looking at these dudes, and I'm like, these guys aren't better than me. And it pissed me off because they weren't better than me, and I should be there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, is your mentality at that point like, damn, coach must have picked up the phone for you and not me, huh?
Yeah, it's just like, it's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And it's also different where they are geographically. Like I said, if you live in Orlando has tons of summer baseball and fall baseball stuff.
Yeah.
And so you get promoted more, and that's what it's all about.
I've seen like just randomly like a bunch of baseball like full year camps down there in Florida and stuff like that. Like it does seem to be like a year round type of thing.
And plus it's usually pretty good weather where you can do that.
No doubt.
So, show up on campus at LSU Eunice, which was, man, honestly, 2 of the best years of my life. Can't say enough for it. It was amazing. But we have a pro day, and I run my 60, and they're like, dude, run it again. So go back, run it again. They're like, run it again. And I'm like, what am I running? He goes, you just ran a 6.5. So that's basically 4.5 40, which is moving.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, I'm racing against the black guys on our team and beating them, So it's like, dude.
It's a good feeling, I'm sure.
So I had this really, really rare combination of plus speed, plus power. Pretty rare to have those two together.
Right, definitely.
So it made me a good prospect right then. So we do this pro day, and next thing you know, I go to my locker after it's all done, and it's like 10 envelopes in there, And it's these long-ass questionnaires, all right, from all these pro teams, and you fill them out, and you send it back to them, and they were super annoying. And next thing you know, I'm getting them from every team. I'm getting one once a month from every team. Everyone's a little bit different. And it got to the point where I had so many to fill out. There's some I didn't even just fill out. I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I filled out 4 for you guys. How many do you need?
Right.
So, and this all happened so fast. I went from a kid who walked on to a junior college.
Yeah.
Okay. And LSUE is a powerhouse JUCO program.
No doubt.
But I should have been walking on there, and now I'm getting letters from every major league team.
Is that why you chose LSU? Is because of its reputation?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's LSU's reputation in state, so I got to have my tops and all that.
Yeah.
So basically went to school for free, even without a scholarship.
I mean, it was probably better than any other option that you had in state.
It was definitely better, but like I said, I knew I was better than these dudes that were going to these big schools. And at the time, my mentality was I just wanted to play high-level college sports. So, at my time at Eunice, had an incredible freshman year. I still have the triples record. I'm definitely up there in home runs, RBIs, slugging, power numbers and stuff. And I get drafted my first year by the Toronto Blue Jays. Looking back, I probably should have signed. One of the things that kind of was not in my favor was that I really hadn't developed a position yet. I'd gone from first base to playing outfield, which everybody thinks that outfield's easy. That's where they put the kid that sucks whenever you're 11.
Right.
But whenever you got grown men hitting the ball,
right.
It's a little bit different. It's not the same. So I was okay. I wasn't great. It definitely didn't help my case for getting the draft money that I wanted. But Toronto drafts me, and
because of the position that you weren't used to it, like your skill in the position,
right? So my skill at the position just wasn't quite polished enough yet because
right.
I didn't have enough games under my belt.
Yeah. You were just fast,
right? Like imagine if you played tight end, and then they were like, "All right, you're gonna play safety now."
Yeah.
So, and it's like, whoa, what do I do? What do I do at safety? What's
up.
cover two? So yeah, that's a good way to kind of think about it. But here's the thing too: if you can hit, it doesn't matter. Like if you can hit, they don't care. I mean, you watch American League teams; they've got a DH.
Right.
Just hit, man.
Yeah.
That's the way. That's your key to the major leagues. So I was a good prospect for American League teams. Toronto was a team that I would have really fit in well with the organization with how I played. At the time it was a draft and follow process. Now you have the draft slot money. But at the time, what they could do is they could say, we'll take a kid late in the rounds because we like him a lot, and then we may give him the money he wants. So what they'll do is they'll draft you. You guys kind of start negotiating contracts and whatnot. You go play summer ball for a collegiate team. They kind of track your progress there, and then you guys come to terms. If not, you just go back to school. And that's kind of what happened. I wanted $175,000-$200,000 in my college paid. They were only willing to give about $100,000. And I just thought that with I guess I knew I could be a high level college. I knew I could do better. I knew I could get better and improve my draft stock.
Right.
What I should have done, I should have got an agent. I never did. But that's another story. So go back to Eunice. Have another great year. And I could have got drafted again, and higher, but still not where I wanted to be. I had a good year. I got better. I didn't progress quite enough to be what I thought I could be. But once I got drafted, I started getting recruited by everybody, all these big colleges.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, I could have gone to Arizona State, could have gone to UCLA.
Did y'all win a national championship?
Yeah, won a national championship. And lost a national championship.
Okay.
And I was the home run derby champ twice.
Nice.
Both years I was there. So, and man, Eunice was so much fun, man. We all lived in the same apartment complex.
Wow.
We all had room. We were just stacked up all together. Just, doors were left open.
Mm-hmm.
The guys downstairs playing Call of Duty. The guys upstairs playing Rock Band.
Yeah.
The guys across there, they're watching, some dumb shit.
Right.
It was just an absolute shit show.
Yeah, just almost a forced bonding experience.
And we're all just, for fucking with each other. Like, we found a dead cat, put it in somebody's bed. I remember one time somebody took an actual turd and pushed it through the fans in somebody's room, man. I mean, can you imagine coming in, turn the air on, and just turd air?
Yeah, that's gotta be tough. That's gotta be tough.
And I think that kid we did it to ended up leaving. He probably left it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have left too if that happened to me. But it was a lot of fun, man. And school was easy. And Lafayette was right there.
Okay.
And I don't know if you ever spent a lot of time in Lafayette.
A little bit.
Lafayette leads the country in hot women per capita.
Okay.
And like, I feel like every girl there has got like 5 or 10% black in them. So they got big old titties, big old booties, long dark brown hair,
For sure.
super tan skin. It's just like they're running everywhere.
So if I recall correctly, that was about the time that like the Boot was a very extremely popular place.
The Boot, no, it was the Keg.
The Keg, okay, the
Now,
Keg.
I don't know if the Boot. I don't heard of that.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Keg.
We would go to. Let's see, where would we go?
I just always like I never went there,
then.
but I always heard that was like the wildest place in the world.
The Keg was the wildest place in the world.
Yeah.
And I got a good story about the Keg. So we'll change pace here, get from sports to a crazy night in Lafayette.
For sure.
So right across from the Keg is this was a black nightclub.
Okay.
And a lot of hood rat festivities went down in this little area.
Gotcha.
Looking back, it was stupid. We're doing what we were doing. I mean, the Keg was great, but right across the street was not great. So I think the week before, maybe 2 weeks before, somebody had gotten shot in the area.
Gotcha.
So, we go there. See, it was I believe it was a Wednesday night because Wednesdays are big at the Keg. And while we were there, me and a couple buddies, we took some girls out to eat. Went to some Tokyo place, got some sushi, had some hibachi, had a good time, and ended up going to the bars. So one of my friends gets just blackout drunk, and he can't really function. So we got to get him back to the car.
Yeah.
So my buddy Truman takes him back to the car, and I was kind of hanging with the chicks, and I was driving, so I had to sober up. So right outside the Keg was it was a barbecue / hot dog stand. So I gave me a big old dog.
Yeah.
So I get a big old hot dog.
Yep. Time out. At that point,
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled out my phone and got on Twitter and was like, I'm down with the whole ASAP mob. And I got on Wikipedia and just like looked up who was in the ASAP mob and just copied and pasted. And dude, went viral. Like blew up. Like hundreds of thousands of retweets
Really?
and likes. Yeah. And
Heck
I was
yeah,
just
dude.
like, what? I woke up the next morning and saw all this. And was like, what did I do?
You gotta find this tweet, dude.
Yeah.
ASAP mob.
Yeah.
But so
back to the
so my buddy Truman's getting my buddy Les Alds back to the car, and I'm with the ladies and I'm getting a hot dog.
Yeah.
And these weren't just normal hot dogs. These were some hot dogs, dude. So I'm making sure the chicks get back, and I get them back to where they were going, and so I go back to meet up with my friends, and I get around the corner, and I see Les. And I see Truman, and then I see these other two guys walking by, and they're talking shit. I guarantee you, like, Les was a phenomenal football player and baseball player. 75% attitude, 25% skill.
Okay.
That dude had a will to win.
Yeah.
And he talked a lot of shit. He said something he probably should have said, which is fine usually. Usually it's all good.
Generally.
So, and that... At this time, they were probably, 150 feet, maybe 200 feet ahead of me. The guys were about where I was. The two guys that were talking shit were about where I was walking away, and I'm walking towards them. So they saw me and waited on me to get there. Get there, and Les slobbering at the mouth, and I'm like, dude, gotta get you out of here, man. And I take about 2 steps towards the truck, and the truck's probably another 200 feet away.
Yeah.
And those two guys that were just walking by, I don't know how they got their posse together that quick. But it was 12 of them coming around the corner, man.
Whole squad rolls up.
Yeah, dude. They had a whole football team, and it was 3 of us. And so we got surrounded pretty quickly. And I'm honestly, like I said, somebody had gotten killed there a few weeks back. And I'm like, this is how it ends.
Yeah.
They're gonna get me here, and they're gonna, So now there was 2 really, really big ones, and then the rest of the other 10 weren't very big.
Yeah.
so Les, who's barely even alive to begin with, so he gets one of the big dudes, and then Sherman, who's way drunker than I am, but still conscious enough to be able to carry somebody out there. He gets the other big one.
Yeah.
And they said they were wearing brass knuckles. I'm not sure. I know that they did not. They looked a lot worse than me because I had like 10 guys that were having to reach up to try and punch me, and they had 2 dudes that were just mauling them.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just remember, you know, fighting up 10 dudes and just getting hit in the back of the head and getting jumped on, and then just like that, this other car pulls up, and they jump out and they had our backs, and those dudes ran off. They made sure we're okay. I was fine.
Yeah.
They were not fine.
Yeah.
They were bloodied up pretty good, but we got out of there. Go to practice the next day. They're bad, dude. They're not looking good. So I'm having to tell one of them. Les couldn't even really talk because his lip was so big.
Yeah.
So yeah, got jumped. Thought I was gonna die. But made it out of there alive.
How was practice the next day? Sure, coach had
we
something to say.
lied. We lied. We lied. So here's what we said happened. We said we didn't lie. We said we went out to dinner, and we said we went to and had drinks. We didn't say we went to the keg, but what we said was we walked the girls home to their apartment complex, and on the way out of there we got beat up. So it made us look like we were doing some very chivalrous stuff.
Right, yeah.
Which I did walk with them back to their, you know, but they didn't. They were talking shit to dudes. So that was a funny story there.
No doubt.
Another funny story from college. We had a really good lefty, Dane Amadei. Phenomenal.
Unique name?
Yeah. Everybody. Oh yeah. That's another thing too about Eunice, the culture. I mean, that is coon ass central.
No doubt.
I mean, everybody told it is.
Yeah.
You know, half the grandparents all speak French. You know.
Wow.
Such a cool experience going down there. I'm so glad it happened.
Yeah.
But Dane Amadei, he was actually from Gonzales, I believe. But really good lefty. And he threw probably about 94. Good run on his fastball. You know, I hit left-handed. He's lefty, so lefty on lefty can cause some problems. He had a really, really good curveball. And I remember I was sitting there 0-2, and he had just was busting me in with fastballs. And I was like, all right, he's definitely going to go slider away here. And he throws it, and it wasn't a slider. It was another fastball. But this fastball started at my head. And as you know, left-handed curveballs start at you, and they break away from you.
Yeah.
So, you know, once you lock in on a pitch, you're locked in on it.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's getting there, and next thing you know, it just pops me right here in the mouth, dude. And I had a big old fat dip in, and if I didn't have that big old fat dip in, it would have broke my jaw. But busted me up. It didn't hurt and was great. I didn't even go to the ground, dude. People thought I was like the biggest badass.
Yeah.
Just wear a fastball on the chin, didn't even go down. So I had to go to the doctor's office and get 8 stitches in my lip. He did a pretty good job, but
pick some dip out of there as well, man.
Yeah, dude. I bet it was nasty as hell. So I go back, and they're just now finishing practice. Well, you had to do punishment work if your team lost, and even though I was there for 5 minutes, my team lost. So he made me do push-ups while everybody else ran. So I'm sitting there with this fresh stitches in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm doing push-ups. And I'm just bleeding everywhere. But you know what? You know, Jeff Willis is an incredible guy, incredible coach. And he learned how to make you know, hard. You know, which is what you need when you're away from your parents. You know, he can be some sort of a father figure, I guess, in a sense, but he can't be there all the time. So he's got to be, you know, the enforcer.
Yeah.
He did a good job of that. Just another funny story. After my freshman year there, they were building a new locker room. And this was in the fall. And we would have what they called controlled inter squads, which was basically you're playing a real game, but there's a coach doing BP. So really all it is the outfield running their asses off in the gaps, trying to run down balls because it's BP and everybody's just turning it around.
Gotcha.
So, you know, we would do this. I mean, in JUCO, there's no time restraints. You know, you're practicing. You get done at 1:30, go down to the field, do some early work. Practice starts at 2:30, and you're practicing from 2:30 to 6:30. And then you go to the gym, you know. And then if you have to go to study hall, you go from there.
Right.
But we're wore out, man. It's hot, dude. It's hot down there.
No doubt.
So, they're building this new locker room, and there's this guy doing the concrete. He's getting concrete all smoothed off and whatnot.
Right.
And got them a BP, throwing 45, 50 miles per hour. I'm exhausted. I hit a towering foul ball. I mean, just straight up. One of those where, like, everybody just looks. And Jeff would just sit over in the dugout. He'd just, like this. He's just sitting there watching it. I remember looking at him, looking back up, looking at him, and looking back up, and then just splat right in the new concrete. And he goes, Kirksey. He had this weird, like, high voice, Kirksey, that's freaking piss poor, man. Get on the running track. Get on the track, start running. So I just ran for like 50 minutes, because they hit a foul ball. And what's funny is before I even like got out of the box, the dude that was doing the concrete just walked over there, picked it up, smoothed it off.
Right.
Like it never happened.
Yeah.
But it was just his way of, hey, you're supposed to be a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
If a guy's throwing 50 miles per hour, you don't hit foul balls.
Right.
You hit home runs.
Yeah.
And you learn a lesson.
Just because you're tired doesn't mean you can't break your
Right.
concentration. And
Right.
yeah.
So, a lot of good memories there. So from Eunice, I went to Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you into the sophomore year and you had more,
So I
more
had the
teams
opportunity to
coming
get
at
drafted
you.
again. I had the opportunity to get drafted again. But I really wanted to play college.
So it's kind of the same deal with the Blue Jays the year before, like ended up.
No, so
or?
basically what I did, and man, this really irks me when kids do this. If you get drafted and don't sign, they lose. They don't get to get another kid.
Right.
They lose that spot.
Right.
So throughout this draft evaluation process, they're really trying to get a feel. Okay, is this kid going to sign or not? And the best thing to do is be honest, because if you start lying, well, then it's a character issue. Then you get labeled as a character issue, or then your draft stock falls.
Yeah.
So, I just straight up was like, hey, I'm not going to get the money I want. We've had enough meetings with all these teams. I'm going to go to school unless I get this, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to a big school. I'm going to go to SEC, and I'm going to do better there, and, then I'll get the money I want.
Yeah.
So, after I got drafted, every school in the SEC West offered me a scholarship except LSU, which really pissed me off because I wanted to go to LSU. I grew up a Louisiana kid, wanted to go there. Pulmonary wasn't high on me. Whatever, it's fine. Go to Ole Miss. We want to visit there. Dude, Oxford. I don't know if you've ever been up to Oxford.
It's a beautiful place.
It is unreal. And I know I said the women at Lafayette lead per capita. Per capita, they're up there. Well, you're in Oxford, dude. Well, it's just they're just everywhere.
Right.
I don't want to say it's like shooting fish in a barrel, but there's just not many places for them to go.
Yeah, it is
They're
a tiny place.
It's tiny town. They're either on campus at a frat party, or they're at the bars. And if they're not there, they're at home. So yeah, Ole Miss was great, man. So go to Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, you toured around.
Yeah, I visited Arkansas, went to Fayetteville, visited Mississippi State.
But you were kind of hell bent on being in the SEC and
that's where I wanted to go, and I could have gone to out in the West. Had some interest from schools out there. I was really close to going to TCU. I liked Fort Worth a lot, and then Houston offered me like 80% scholarship, which is nuts.
Wow.
Because you only get 11 scholarships.
Okay.
So most kids get. If a really high profile recruit, they're going to get about what I got, 60, 70. Most of people are getting 25% because they got to divvy these up amongst a lot of people.
Yeah. I didn't realize that, I guess.
Yeah, you only get 11.7. And usually in your class, it's like 15, 16, 17 guys. So they get stretched thin.
For sure.
And then there's years where they have to take scholarships from guys that are already there because they're not performing,
Yeah.
But chose Ole Miss. It just seemed like the right place. They needed a left-handed power bat. They needed an outfielder. It was a really good fit. I liked the town. I liked the people there. It seemed like a good deal. So I go to Ole Miss, and I'm a pretty big recruit, and it's fun because Now, instead of being a big deal at LSU Eunice, where nobody there really gives a shit, and we had, we had decent crowds, but they weren't great. I'm playing. If we had a really good crowd, there would be maybe 300 people there. All right, there were 300 people at practice at Ole Miss.
Wow.
So, next thing you know, I'm on campus, college. There's just girls everywhere. There's football on Saturdays. The bars are awesome. We go to the library. I've never been to the library. If you're on a baseball team there, they fucking love you.
Yeah.
You tip them $20, $30 to the bartender. You can get all the well whiskey you want.
Right.
All the Rumplements you want, man. All the Fireballs you want. Don't get any of the nice stuff. But,
right.
All the cheap stuff's free. Well, not free, but you tip them, and they just pocket that money.
Right.
But it's great. If you ever think you got some stanky breath, you just take a rumple real quick. That'll fix it up.
That's a good.
Go to talk to a girl. Like, hey,
that's
dude,
a good tip.
give me a rumple real quick. If I don't go talk to this chick, I'm not sure about my breath situation right now.
Need to be minty fresh.
Yeah. So I'm there, and I had a great fall. Next thing you know, they come out projecting lineups. Your boy's batting cleanup. I'm starting left field. I am cloud nine. Everything's working out exactly how I want it to.
Yeah.
My first game there, first inning. First inning. 11,000 people there. It's crazy, man. It's nuts. I'm like, holy shit, dude. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And runner on third base, there's one out, and there was just a can of corn pop up hit to me in left field. It wasn't even deep. It was pretty shallow. It was like, and the dude's tagging up, by the way. Like, I'm about to catch this, throw that dude out, and get this party started the right way.
Yeah, they're gonna know Zack Kirksey's name.
Yeah, and that's not what happened. What happened was I dropped the fly ball, and I don't know if you've ever heard 11,000 simultaneous boos all directed at you, but it is pretty traumatizing.
Yeah, I can imagine. So
I had like a panic attack. I'm out there, and I'm like, I'm shell shocked. I'm like, dude, this is a situation I've never been in before.
Yeah.
Obviously I've been to college games where there's big crowds, but not when it's all you. You're on an island out there, baseball. That's what's cool about baseball is you're on an island. It's a team sport, but you're on an island.
Yeah.
You got to do your job. So anyways, dropped the fly ball. Was not good. The guy scored. Then the next thing you know, guy in right field, he didn't drop the fly ball, but he took a really, really bad angle on a ball. Next thing you know, he dives, he misses, that ball goes to the wall. Next thing you know, it's 4-0 to Wright State out of Ohio, I believe. And we're like that number 8 team, ranked team in the country, and I'm supposed to be this bad dude, and I don't look so good out there, So, come in, first at bat, hit a double, so that smoothed me over a little bit. But, needless to say, my junior year ended up being a little bit of a mess. I got injured. When we were at Houston, I had finally caught fire, and I was really doing well. And I think I hit 2 or 3 home runs that series against Houston, a school I was supposed to go to.
Right.
And they offered me a bunch of money, and I didn't go. And then I went there, and I just, packed their fudge, basically. All weekend. So that was fun. But the last game, ran to the wall, catching a fly ball. Jammed up my shoulder, AC joints, pretty common with outfielders.
Yeah.
And it really affected me. Next thing you know, and it just affects my swing. It affects my outfield play. And, the difference between JUCO where I was and where Ole Miss is whenever the coach is making $700,000-$800,000 $1 million a year, they don't have time to let you figure it out.
Yeah.
It is, I need somebody to produce right now.
Right.
So I found myself on the bench pretty quickly. And that was the first time that it ever happened. And, I kept a good attitude. One of the things that I'll always really appreciate is I've always been a great teammate. I get text messages from coaches that have coached me to this day.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach, it's usually till my birthday, they'll shoot me a text, and it's like, hey, man, I'll never forget that summer. You hit like 240 that year, but you hustled all the time. You struck out. You didn't throw your bat. You picked up your glove, and you hauled ass out to your position. You picked guys up when you needed to. You were a good teammate. You're never a sourpuss when things weren't going your way.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to be an asshole when things aren't going your way.
No doubt.
So, never really got it together. My junior year. Have exit meetings, and I thought that I was probably going to transfer out of there because we had a super talented team. Like I said, I think we were preseason ranked number 8. Had a lot of good talent on that team and should have done way better. And we didn't even make postseason. And that was the first time Ole Miss had missed the postseason, I think, in 7 or 8 seasons.
Wow.
So to be part of that was not fun. And I'll just give you a funny story about one of the things that happened during the season. So we're playing Mississippi State, and I believe it was the Friday night game. It was a Friday night game, and bottom of the 9th, down 1, runner on second base. I pinch hit, go in, strike out with the guy on second base. Okay, we ended up losing the game. I don't think I was the last out. I think I made him the second out.
Yeah,
but we lose the game. So next morning, I get up, go to Chick-fil-A. And I just joined Twitter. I didn't have it when I was at JUCO. I had it at Ole Miss. That's kind of when it was getting popular, and that's whenever people were starting to follow the athletes. So I developed a pretty good following, and I was at Chick-fil-A, and these dudes were walking in Chick-fil-A, and they were wearing some really short shorts. And I know that short shorts have kind of come back in style,
right?
With you got chubbies and bird dogs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But these were excessively short shorts,
right?
So I tweeted out, "I'm tired of seeing these dudes in Oxford wear these short ass shorts," and some dude tweeted right back at me pretty quick. We're tired of seeing you strike out in critical situations during baseball games. And
ouch!
Oh man, he crushed me good, dude. He crushed me good, and I didn't really take that too well.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, I'm getting in a Twitter war.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
Been there.
they're writing articles. Every college kind of has a Bleacher Report deal. Ours, the one at Ole Miss, is called Red Cup Rebellion. I mean, you type my name in Google, the first thing that's going to show up is that article. Or it's not number 1, it's number 2 or 3. Anyways, it wasn't very flattering. It wasn't good. Got in trouble.
Just because they wrote an article just because you were running your mouth and
the dude, I said something like tryouts for next season. You can use all my stuff.
Yeah,
take it all. You do try to make the team. Do better than I am if you're going to come to me like that.
Right.
And then of course, made me look even worse. And he said something else. And then I remember somebody. I was saying things I shouldn't have. Some dude was like, "No wonder you aren't any good. You have no discipline." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, why don't you come down here and show me some discipline?" I remember I gave him my address. So
I'll refer back to my never afraid of anyone on the internet.
Yeah. So not something I'm proud of, but it happened.
Yeah.
So junior year ends, and like I said, I didn't know if I was gonna come back, because first off, this was supposed to be my money year. This is when I'm supposed to make my bank. And it's gone. And now I'm going to be a senior. And now I don't have any leverage.
Right.
Which means that I'm going to be a senior sign, which means the most I'm going to get is $10,000. So
wow.
I went from, potentially making hundreds of thousands to literally nothing.
Yeah.
One good weekend at the casino is more than I'm going to make.
Right. Yeah.
Right here. So, that summer, actually, I got the opportunity to go play in Alaska. I was trying to play summer ball somewhere. I needed to get some more ABs and just figure it out.
Yeah.
And there is a summer league in Alaska. It's incredible. I'm so glad I went up there and did it. I was in the Kenai Peninsula. I got to see the hundreds of thousands of salmon come down. We went salmon fishing. Saw Kodiak bear, saw black bear, saw moose running down the street. I mean, I was in it. Dude.
Yeah.
I was in it. Earthquakes going on. There was a volcano. I'd go where I was staying. There's a volcano in the distance. It's like that thing could erupt and we all die.
That's nuts.
So, really great summer up there. And
is there much of a crowd for baseball there?
Yeah, it was pretty good following.
Yeah.
The town was pretty involved.
Yeah. I guess if it's coming back every year.
Yeah. And then also too, it didn't get dark there. This summer,
right.
So it's all light,
right.
Which took a little bit to get used to, but got used to it, and had a great summer. didn't play quite as well as I wanted to, but played better. Got some much needed reps in the outfield, and that was probably the main thing. But came back, and Ole Miss had hired a new hitting coach, Cliff Godwin. He is the head coach at East Carolina State now, or East Carolina. I don't think it's State.
Yeah,
I think it's ECU.
Mm-hmm.
Great college coach. Really good at getting guys to simplify their approach, and just make it simple. So we were a good mix because we got together and it was like, look, Kirk, you're so strong, you just got to hit it, So worked that fall, and really improved, and then had a great senior year. Went on to be, I think I was second in the SEC in home runs that year. Had a great year, and the next thing you know, I'm like the big deal on campus again. So,
have the
fun.
The tides have turned.
Yeah. Whenever I moved back, now I'm living on the square.
Okay.
So, Square. So let's see. You know where South Depot is? The burrito place?
I'm not extremely familiar with Oxford at all. I just know that the square
there's
exists.
a lot of one-ways and whatnot.
Right,
If you're coming from the campus into the square,
okay,
there is right on your immediate left, there's a church, and there's a parking lot, and then the next building is an apartment complex called the Ritz. It used to be an old movie theater, and they turned it into, I believe it was 6 units there, 2-bedroom.
Okay.
So me and the shortstop, who was also another big recruit, who also had a bad year, lived together. We thought it'd be a good fit. We were the two dudes that kind of shit the bed.
Right.
Might as well get together and either sulk in our misery or pick it up.
Right.
And it's funny. The funny thing that happened. This is probably the funniest thing I've ever heard. His name was Blake Navalu, which he's Hawaiian. It sounds like Nawalu, but there's no W in the Hawaiian alphabet or whatever. So it's pronounced in a V sound.
Gotcha.
So, he went by Navalu. Well, he was having a bad year too. And I think he made an error one day. And it's finally quiet, It's not many times where it's quiet when there's 10,000 people there. And this redneck dude yells out from left field, Blake Navalu, more like no value. Oh. I was dying.
Oh,
dude.
Man.
It was so funny. So, Blake no value. But, yeah, man. So, yeah, I tell you, everybody always asks me, where's the toughest place to play? I say, man, Arkansas is pretty tough. Mississippi State's pretty tough. But Ole Miss is definitely the toughest. By hands down. But that's what you want. That's why you go there. You go there for the crowds. You go there for the fame. You go for the popularity. And if you don't get it, well, you get the other part of it. You get the shit end of the stick.
Right.
And like I said, I saw both sides of that coin.
No doubt.
And
I think it's cool that like you got that bad part like almost like day one to some degree. Like you like almost went ahead and got that out of the way to where you could go ahead and start hitting your stride.
Maybe I needed it. Maybe I was getting a little bit too cocky or whatever. And I don't think I was that way, but
well, I mean, I guess I should ask the question, like whenever you're in Alaska, did that like kind of humble you to some degree? Like you went from this place where,
Yeah. I mean, I was as far away from my family as possible.
Right. Yeah. I guess that did force you to like think about like, all right, do I really want to do this? Like, do I really want to continue to pursue this?
Yeah, especially when it doesn't get dark at night and you're like trying to sleep. All you can think about is, why can't I hit the ball? Yeah. Why is it so hard? What is going on? This used to be so easy, and now it's just like I feel like I'm swinging a toothpick up there, and the ball it's like a tic tac. Yeah. So
that's wild.
But yeah, man. Sometimes it's a watermelon. Sometimes it's a tic tac.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I had a great senior year. Got a lot of attention just from, they do the build beer tosses out there in the outfield. I'm sure you've seen the videos.
For sure.
I just remember I had such a good start. I was so hot, I'd be coming to the plate. And first off, I think I had the best walkout of all time. Okay. It was Guess Who's Back by Eminem.
All right.
Guess Who's Back.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I thought it was great because I was like, I'm coming back. I'm going to get this back, Yeah. And you would just see everybody they'd see me walking up, they'd be going nuts in the outfield, pouring the beers, getting ready. Just ready to throw them beers in the air. And a lot of times they did, man. My first game, my senior year, hit a home run. First at bat. So that was like, that was just like the weirdest. It's just, like I said, the previous year, dropped the fly ball first game.
Yeah.
Second year, he hit a home run. You know.
So how'd the team do that year?
We made the playoffs. We lost in the regional to TCU. We should have won. We were up. We beat TCU already. Then we played Texas A&M and beat them. So we were in the leader spot.
Yeah.
And then TCU beat us twice. And I was really pissed off because they threw a lefty on the first game. And he pitched. He may still be in the major leagues, but he pitched in the major leagues for a bit. Actually, he won a World Series with the Kansas City Royals.
Okay.
The lefty, I can't remember. It starts with F. I want to say Fitzgerald, but he's a lefty through like 95 and 97. And Coach Bianco, love him, you know, but he liked to play matchups at times. And he just thought that we're going to pinch hit. We're going to play a right-handed hitter against this guy instead of a lefty. If it's me, I'm saying you put your best 9 out there. You got to win one game.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So we ended up losing that game, and then the next game we lost that one too, and season's over. And it was a bummer, you know, because we were definitely better than them. Had a good team, and you know it would be nice to go to Super Regional, but we didn't make it. So you know, it's like, man, you know, I knew I had a good year, but I didn't know if I'd get drafted.
Right.
You know, but go back home, working out, phone rings. Detroit drafted me. Get on a plane, go to Lakeland, Florida, do my physicals, do some practices. Next thing you know, I'm in Connecticut, playing for the Connecticut Tigers, and playing summer ball. You know?
So when you get that phone call, you're like, no question, I'm doing it.
Like I said, no leverage.
Right.
So it's either sign with them or become a free agent and try to get picked up by somebody else.
Yeah.
Detroit was another American League team, so another good fit for me.
Right.
And Detroit, man, they loved me. They gave me a lot of opportunities. Like I said, kind of fit their mold. You know, one of the first things they said to me when I was there was because my senior year, I probably, you know, you played 65 games or so, and I probably played half those in the field, the other half DHing.
Okay.
So, you know, had some playing time under my belt, but obviously still not the most polished outfielder, especially for a pro level grade.
Yeah.
So, you know, after having that rough, you know, year at Ole Miss, I felt like I can't fuck up. You know, like it went from if I screw up, I'm done. I'm not going to play. To now, one of the first things my coach said to me was, "Hey, look, Kirk, I know that you DH'd a bunch. I know you only played 30 or so games in the field. Here's the deal. Don't worry about fucking up. Actually, all of us here, and all the coaches right there around, all of us here, we're all waiting for you to fuck up. So if you fuck up, it don't matter.
Yeah.
You know? And it's crazy, man. I don't think I made an error that entire summer.
I was about to say, imagine that's a
it was a weight off my shoulders,
yeah.
you know. So, you know, it had an okay year that first year. But yeah, you know, got to play pro ball.
You made it. Did you make it to the show?
No. Actually, I had a pretty underwhelming professional career, and that was another thing I was going to bring up. You know, so back in college, actually, I was a freshman in college. I had gotten prescribed Adderall. Adderall was something that I would not take that much. Sometimes, if I was going to go in a funk at the plate, I would take one because reaction time turns a little different.
No doubt. Definitely feel that way.
Also helps you out with studying. You know, college, sure. You don't study, you party, and then you got a test and you got to cram. So you do that the night before. Same with Ole Miss, didn't take it much. But when I got into pro ball, I felt like I have got to do so good now that I started taking it every day. And eventually, if you're taking it every day, especially when your games are at night and you're taking it at 4 or 5 p.m., you're not going to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, first off, I'm living out of hotels. I'm eating shitty food. I mean, Wendy's, I'm eating McDonald's, Subway, just fast food, basically. You know, and like you're on a bus, so like you go to the hotel, usually they try to get you a spot where there's some food around you could walk to. Usually it was around a Hooters for some reason, which was okay, but you know, trashy Hooters girls. You got to think too. It's like every other minor league team staying here too, man. So maybe you shouldn't mess with those chicks.
Yeah,
because they know the drill.
Right.
So yeah, basically I'm eating bad food. I'm taking Adderall. I'm staying up till 2, 3 in the morning because I can't sleep. And then I'm not waking up till lunch. Well, I got to be at the field at 3, so I get one meal. Basically, I'm eating 2 meals a day, and I'm taking an amphetamine, and I'm not recovering.
Right.
And after a while, it takes a toll on you, and you don't even realize it's happening because it just. I'll battle some injuries, some nagging injuries. I pop an Adderall, and next thing you know, my body feels great. But as much as it helps in the short term, in the long term, it's much more detrimental.
No doubt.
So I played 3 years, and look at my career, and it was pretty underwhelming. Definitely didn't do as well as I'd liked. And when I was playing pro ball, and I was get to be around some of the greats like Miguel Cabrera, I realized that guy has something else that I don't. I had a lot of talent, but Miguel Cabrera, he's on another level, man. I mean, he's a dude. So I knew I was good. I knew I could have made it. I didn't. But I know that I left it all out there.
Yeah.
I have no regrets. If anything, my only regret is I wish I would have backed off some, and just taking it easy in the off season more, chill out. Don't go to the field every single day.
Right.
But yeah. So summer 2015, I got released from the Tigers. Go back to Ole Miss. I still had 6, maybe 9 hours of school left.
Okay.
Finish up school that summer, and while I'm there, parents like, hey, do you want to try and get picked up? Do you want And I guess I was just so, I don't know, upset about all of it, and I just had been done so poorly. I just felt like, you had your shot. You're 25 years old. They want you in the major leagues right now, anyways. You might as well do something else.
Yeah.
So I hung it up and started playing golf again.
Yeah.
And I remember I was at the Ole Miss golf course, and I'm on the driving range, and there's another dude there that's hitting all this long drive, this longer shaft, this long drive stuff. So he kind of is watching me, and he's like, "Dude, you can do this," because I'm hitting it farther than he is. He's like, "You should like get in the long drive."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I might." So I'm doing summer classes. I'm like, "Shit, well, I'm not doing anything."
Yeah.
Might as well just try. So picked up long drive. Go to a show in.
So I guess had you been playing golf throughout?
Yeah, so I picked up golf whenever I was.
I know you did
11
it
or 12
young,
years
but
old.
like all
And I
through
played-
college?
They wouldn't let me play in college at Ole Miss because the coach didn't think it was good for your baseball swing. When I got into pro ball, one of our coaches was Larry Parrish. He's a dude who hit almost 300 home runs in the league. He's like, dude, everybody should play golf. I didn't actually start hitting home runs until I started playing golf. You just learn to manipulate your body, and you learn different angles of attack. And you learn how to elevate the ball.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain way to do it.
Right. That's
So,
interesting. I never thought of it from that mentality.
Yeah, and another thing too, when you're golfing, if you look at it, you don't move your head much. You're pretty much just twisting on your spine.
Okay.
So, and if you watch the best baseball hitters, if you watch them, their head really doesn't move that much. You maybe see a lot of turning and stuff in their bodies, but their head's not going anywhere, which means their eyes aren't moving.
Yeah.
Because when a guy's throwing 98, the last thing you want to do is make it move more,
Right.
by moving your head.
Right.
So, it's a really good, I wish I had started earlier.
Yeah.
So I played golf pretty much all my young life, and then, like I said, when I was probably a junior, sophomore or junior, had to put it away because it's not time. So started doing a long drive again, and went to an event in Alabama and won it. Qualified for an event in Oklahoma. Go there, and let's see, it was probably like 80 or 90 guys, and they took 5. I think I got 4th or 5th place, got in there. So qualified for the World Championships. Go there, and I think I ended up getting 22nd place in the world first year doing it. I know you had Alexis Belton.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's still doing it.
Yeah, she is.
And it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. It was kind of like getting batting practice all day, which kind of annoying.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. From the day that this dude is like, man, you should consider doing this, to showing up, was that like, Did you just start immediately just pursuing long drive and like practicing long drive? And,
Yeah. So finished up at Ole Miss, moved back home, and at this time, my parents were just like kind of letting me just figure it out on my own. They weren't making me go get a job yet, so I remember I worked at the MAC. We was thinking about maybe getting into physical training, so I was studying that and
Yeah, what did you graduate in?
business management.
Okay.
Yeah. I could go back and get another degree too, but I guess I can't now. I may could.
Yeah.
Because I think I only need like 18 hours to get like some sort of writing degree. Because I took a lot of electives and stuff, and
Okay.
I chose because Ole Miss is a big literature school. A lot of writers go there, journalism, because of what's this dude's name? Golly, famous author. Can't think of his name now. I just forgot it.
Mark Twain?
No, not Mark Twain, but you would be in the same category.
Yeah.
Golly, he's one of the best Southern writers. Anyways, I can't think of his name. He used to live in Oxford, so people think there's like this like mystique there.
Right,
So
yeah.
a lot of writing stuff's there. Anyways, back to long drive. So yeah, I'd moved back home now. There was a kid. His name is Nick Wilson. Played golf at ULM. He'd finished up. He's trying to make it on the mini tours. So we're just kind of together, and it's like shit. I'm doing this. You can help me out. And I'll just chill with you, man. We'll play together.
For sure.
So we just kind of both practiced, and next thing you know, I got pretty good at it. But I just did it the 1 year. It screwed up my actual golf game. I'm not sure if Alexis talked about it or not. We didn't really dive into that heavily, but she is pursuing both disciplines. So that is definitely something that I'm curious. It's tough to do both because when you're hitting the long drive, you have to launch it higher. You have to swing up at more of a upward angle. And you don't want to do that with your irons as much.
Right. Just more of a line drive type.
Right. It's more of a, because you watch the divot, they're compressing it into the ground, which means they kind of have a negative angle of attack. If you have a negative angle of attack with a driver, you put more spin on the ball. So you want that positive attack angle, and it's pretty tough to juggle the two.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough. So I'm sitting there, and my swing speed's like 145 miles per hour. I'm swinging as hard as I can, swinging up, hitting it launching it as high and as far as I can. Next thing you know, I'm trying to go play golf. I'm hitting the pitching wedge 180 yards now. And it's just like, this is not how you hit golf balls.
Yeah, right.
So that was one of the reasons why I stopped doing it. Was all the events were on the West Coast. All the equipment was expensive. I didn't get a sponsor after making it to the Worlds. I didn't feel like buying these $300 shafts that would break. And like I said, it kind of got boring after a while.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
then started pursuing the family business, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, jumped in the family biz, doing that now, doing insurance. It's good, man. It's insurance, man. It's kind of, you can make a lot of money doing it. It's can be pretty lucrative. And it's fun to go in and save people money. But insurance isn't something people are really happy about buying, which naturally, man. I mean, heck, I got car insurance. I don't really like paying for it either, but I understand the products and why you got to have it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like I said, my dad's kind of niche has been crop insurance. I don't do that. I do just commercial lines insurance. So anything from construction, restaurants, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And everything in between.
Well, I mean, I know, especially with it be like your name kind of, your name is attached to it, your family name's attached to it, like just the whole like building relationships is cool, and and all the connections that you can get from there. I know that's always interesting, and like you say, you still get to go play golf and entertain customers.
Yeah, that's
that
one
way.
thing. You get to take some customers out, get them drunk, play golf with them. Yeah.
So, do you see pursuing insurance for the rest of your life, or?
I don't know. I've been thinking about doing something else. I'm not sure what I would do. Sales isn't bad. It's pretty easy. Just got to talk to people. I know a buddy of mine. He's living in New Orleans right now. He's got some California connections, and basically what's explained to him is there's these guys who are developing these apps, and they can't sell it. They're guys you can't really explain the product. They're not good salesmen.
Right.
They're smart, but this is it's not something they do.
Yeah, they don't necessarily communicate to.
So apparently
consumers.
there's a need for salesmen out there. But man, I've been to LA, man. I spent a few weeks out there. Anna, my youngest sister, she went and did an internship with Mumu. You ever heard of Mumu?
Yeah, for sure.
It's any girl that heard that will know what it is. It's
No
like
doubt.
a sundress, flowy dresses type deal. She took an internship out there. Dad was like, "Hey man, go to LA for 2 weeks. Make sure Anna's settled in, taken care of, because LA, that's
It's a wild
belly
place.
of the beast, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. That is why. That is. I got some good LA stories. The people there aren't genuine. There's and not everybody, but there's a lack of morality in Hollywood area. Santa Monica a little different, Venice a little different, but Beverly Hills, Hollywood area, it's just what can you do for me?
Yeah.
What do you do? How
Yeah.
much money do you have? Where do you live? Nobody's looking for any sort of character in a person, but
I'm gonna spin it a little bit here. I know you're a big hunter.
oh yeah.
And I know you kill a lot of big deer in
Yeah.
Kansas and stuff. Have you ever thought about pursuing elk in the backcountry? And
Oh man, so I want to.
I just feel like that's like right up your alley, kind of.
Pretty penny, to
It
do
is.
that.
It is.
The bow I have now definitely could kill elk with it. I need to get a different one though. This one I have a Matthews DXT.
Okay.
It's probably 8 years old now, and 8 years old bow is like
Yeah.
ancient now.
No doubt.
So
$200 now.
yeah, I know. So I need to go get set up for more of a Midwest setup because where we hunt in Illinois, and I'm actually going there at 4 a.m. tomorrow to get our food plots ready.
All right.
But up there, we have this the soybean food plot we have. By the way, deer love soybeans.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we put
So
soybeans.
so do the Chinese.
Yeah.
Just to throw that out
They do. They buy all of it. But soybeans are planted right now. But what we do is we contract out one of the local farmers to spray it with basically it's pepper spray eventually, and it keeps the deer from eating it.
Okay.
So we get them to spray it every once a month, and basically spray it until hunting season starts, and then these beans are still there.
Right. So then you allow the deer in there.
Because late season, food starts to leave. They have to come to food sources. It's cold up there. So we have these stands set up, and it's a big food plot. And those deer know them stands are there. And they're pretty skittish of them, So you might have to make a 60, 70-yard shot.
Yeah.
Now, 70 yards of the bow, that's a long way.
No doubt.
But you can get it set up to do that, So that's my next plan is because, there's going to be a time where there's going to be a 180, 190-inch deer, and he's going to be sitting at 65 yards. And the bow I got right now, it's got a 50-yard pin. and I'll shoot at 60 because I'll just hover it and shoot at 60.
Right.
But I'm not very confident.
Yeah.
And plus, too, like, one time I set up my phone behind a target, and I was filming because I wanted to see what a Luminok looked like coming,
Coming at you.
And I think it was maybe a 30-yard shot, maybe 40. But, as soon as you release, it's a long sizzle. It's like a...
Yeah.
And a deer's going to react to that.
I hear them talking about the axis deer with that.
Yeah.
And like how they're bred around tigers and they're super skittish and the simple release of the arrow will make them drop and jump and make you miss super easy. So I definitely get that concept.
So do you elk hunt?
No, I have been on an elk hunt with my older brother. We went to Utah and pursued an elk. And unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
On public land, right next to some Indian land 1 week after season opened. So we're convinced that they all pushed over to the Indian land and where you're not allowed to hunt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I've been offered a couple opportunities to go and film hunts in September.
So I'm actually still fairly new to bow hunting. Because I was always playing fall baseball in college.
Right.
And when I was in high school, my dad and brother really hadn't gotten into it that big yet. They did it a little bit, but then, we were hunting on Davis Island, so you could use a rifle.
Yeah.
And it's easier to kill with a rifle.
No doubt.
But then Dad wanted to get in the Midwest hunting, and then it's all bow up there. Besides 2 shotgun weekends.
Okay.
So like I said, done with ball now. Got nothing to do. Might as well start bow hunting.
Yeah.
So been doing that for the past 3 years, and it's a lot like golf in a sense, because in golf you go out and you got 100 and you hit your pitch wedge 155 yards. Well, now you got a 148 yard shot, so you got to develop a little feel.
Right. Right.
And same with your bow. They're not gonna. You got your 20, 30, 40, 50 yard pin. Well, they're gonna be at 34 yards. Right. Turned away from you.
Yeah.
So I just love going out there and shooting and practicing. I'll throw in the AirPods, put on a Joe Rogan podcast, put on some music, put on something, and just veg out and not think about anything and just shoot.
Yeah, it definitely seems like something you can zone out and just I guess practice and perfect your routine. And
So do you bow hunt?
No.
Okay.
I've shot a bow a handful of times when I was younger, but I've never. It's kind of one of those things like my dad never hunted. And
Okay, so your dad never hunted?
I never really pursued it myself.
Yeah.
My brother now has pretty heavily, and I like to hike and get out in the woods and get lost and that kind of deal. And so my brother has pursued the same type of deal, and I think he's going to Montana later this year with one of his customers. It's his birthday, and he invited him to go. They're like horsebacking in for a week or something, and they're gonna have a whole camp set up there. And it's gonna
watch out for bears, dude.
Yeah,
they're there,
no doubt. So, yeah.
Do you see that Adam Greentree? You know Adam Greentree?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Dude. Oh
man,
that whole
dude.
Whenever you're talking about whenever Joe highlighted him and he started to blow
it's so
up.
Crazy. So he has a gun. He shoots with it. He gets it, and then he changes bullets to a hollow point.
Yeah.
And jams, dude. That's crazy. So basically, moral of the story is make sure you shoot whatever bullets you're gonna have.
He is literally filming this grizzly bear with. You can see the gun.
And you can see the gun is jammed.
And I didn't even I watched all that as he was uploading it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy shit, there's a fucking grizzly bear right there.
Dude.
And then I listened to his podcast and they started talking about it. He's like, yeah, my gun was jammed the whole time. It was fucking useless. And I was just like, wait, what? The only thing you had to defend yourself was compromised?
Have you seen the Grizzly Man documentary?
No.
Oh my god, have you heard about it?
I've heard about it a little bit, yeah.
Bro, it almost seems like a parody, like a fake. But sure enough, real. I mean, this dude thought he could live with bears. Because apparently, certain parts of the year, bears just feed on nuts and berries and plant, and they're not actively trying to kill, actual meat.
Yeah.
So you can be all around them.
You're just foraging.
And then they move up into the caves, the dens, and that's when they start to hibernate, and that's when they get hungry because it's getting winter, and they gotta get fat, And that's when that dude got eaten.
Wow.
Long story short, but he's videoing all these stuff, all these bears, and it's crazy because there'll be a bear right there, that dresser, and he'll be filming it, And he creates this friendship with this fox. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that's
it's
strange.
Bizarre, but it's great. You gotta check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I think about that same thing with the National Geographic people that get in with gorillas and stuff like that. It's just this thing could literally just grab your head and smash it if it chose to.
But gorillas and primates in general seem to connect to humans more. But yeah, you're definitely right. Yeah. You always hear about, you used to at least, these chimpanzees that maul their owners. Yeah. I know there was one when I was in college. It's a funny video that came out on YouTube, and I wish I still knew what it was. But basically, in a nutshell, this chick had this monkey for 10, 15 years. I don't know how long monkeys live or how long they keep them as pets.
Yeah.
But apparently the older they get, the more ornery they get, which is kind of like people,
Yeah.
So she's had the same haircut this entire time. She comes home. I don't know. I'm sorry for laughing because it's not funny. It's really traumatic. But she comes home with a different haircut, and this chimpanzee lost his shit.
Wow.
And just mauls her almost to death. I mean,
that's crazy.
People are gonna think I'm an asshole for laughing because I'm just thinking of the video where they make fun of it. But
my mind went immediately to that new haircut video. But not now, Chief. I'm in the fucking zone.
That's an old video. That's back whenever we didn't we didn't have Twitter. pretty sure you can get on the internet on your phone, but it sucked.
Yeah.
So you were just on your laptop, man, basically looking up YouTube videos.
I always remember, like, I guess Reddit was a thing, but I just remember eBum's World was like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, the internet, man. Internet's a crazy place.
Facts.
It's I'm so glad it wasn't around like it is now whenever I was a developing human being. Can you imagine? I mean,
you know, I even look back on some of the first things that I think about, like, on the internet, and just like my parents, like, just kind of let me have it. You know, just let me have at it. And
well, they didn't know.
No, I mean nobody knew. Yeah. Oh yeah,
you
I had
watch anything on LimeWire
for sure. But it's just like, you know, you and your buddies from down the street get together and y'all are all sitting around the computer like, what's the weirdest thing we can look up, kind of.
Yeah,
deal,
usually it was porn.
Yeah.
Which
it turned out.
Which another thing, you know, I know Theo talks about it all the time. How he quit porn.
Right.
Dude, 6 months porn free.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like, it's not like some badge of honor I like to wear around.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy. Like, you know, it's like I had a problem, but like I watched it, and nobody ever feels good about it whenever you get done.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, bro, I don't know.
Yeah. Exit out of that, man.
Delete the history. Never happened, even though nobody's looking at my laptop. So I just one day I was like, you know, this past year I've kind of had this like, what are the things in my life that are negative, and let's get rid of them. I quit chewing tobacco. I quit watching porn, which is funny, and I tell all my friends they need to do it.
Yeah.
Because you'll feel better, and honestly, you will like want to connect with a woman in a different way. You'll respect a woman more.
Yeah.
I mean, I have sisters and a mom. I don't know if you do or not.
No.
I know you have a mom, of course. But, I mean, they're women, and you want, you know, they're the women you love in your life, and eventually you're going to be married. And I just think that that's a wedge in between. And it's a problem, I think, with a lot of people.
No doubt. Well, and it's, I saw a shirt yesterday that said, porn kills love. And it was like,
that's probably true, though.
Wow, like I'd never even thought about it in that sense, but it is probably true.
Yeah.
You mentioned making changes in your life, and that's definitely something that I've taken on here recently is, you know, a lot of my friends smoke cigarettes, and that ended up making me smoke cigarettes. And then I was like, dude, like now I want to pursue like running and all this stuff. And I was like, you can't do that. Dude. Yeah. And, I'm actually, it'll be August whenever this podcast comes out. So I've never done like a month of sobriety, like not drinking. And I've pretty much been drinking on and off since I was like 15 years old.
Okay.
And so August, I'm not going to drink any alcohol. Just, I don't have any events planned or anything. So I feel like it's like an easy way to do it. And I don't think I have a problem. I've definitely been slowing down drinking over the past 8-10 months. But it's just, I think it's, you know, I've been pushing myself to, like, end of August, like, I want to do a full Murph, like the full Murph workout. Okay. And, you know, just setting little goals and trying to push myself to do things. And
I've actually probably drank the most this summer of any time. I mean, not any time, because I went through college.
Right.
But it's been a while since I drank this much. And I'm not like, you know, just Fridays and Saturdays, you know, usually because it's hard to get into stuff in Monroe.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you know, I've really enjoyed it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, instead of those days where it's like, I spend a lot of time in the gym. Probably an irrational amount, which is good because I see guys that are my age now, and whenever you're 30, you're gonna look around and see your friends, and it's like, that dude's way out of shape. Yeah. That dude doesn't look good. Yeah. You know.
Well, that's kind of part of my, you know, I want to live this extreme life and travel and be able to hike and all this stuff. And like, I can't fucking do it because I'm too weak and I'm not, you know, I don't have a strong back and all this stuff. So like, and yeah, I work outside every day and I am physically active all the time, but you know, that afforded me to some degree for a while to just be able to eat pizza every weekend and just do whatever I wanted to, especially in the summertime. Like now, like I'm sweating from the time that I walk out my door to the time I get home just because I'm literally living outside. But doing this podcast and listening to podcasts, and a lot of my ideas come from that kind of stuff, and on nutrition and just how to eat, and so yeah, I feel you on the whole experimentation, making yourself better type deal.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I've cut out some bad things. Also, if you're going to say you're drinking, that's probably not a good thing to pick up.
Right.
But we all have our vices, and that's life. If you have a life without vices, then you ain't got much of a life.
No doubt. No doubt.
But yeah, man, I've just kind of kicked back. It's like Thursdays. It's like, man, instead of going to the gym and doing bench press, why don't you go catch happy hour with one of your buddies? Have 5 or 6 beers, get a burger half off.
Like I say, if you're with a friend, if you're drinking with a friend,
alone, man. I'm not a psycho, dude. I ain't got I don't have a problem. I'm probably shaking right now. I don't have a problem.
Touche.
Actually, what's funny is if I wasn't leaving at 4 a.m, I wanted to catch a workout. I was thinking about bringing some beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a bad idea.
I'm going to be a recurring guest. I'll tell you right now.
No doubt. No, I mean,
I feel like I'm going to be recurring.
This is the longest podcast that I've done so far.
I figured it would be. I thought my story was pretty good, so I wanted to take up a lot of your time.
Yeah, no, I've like midway through, I was like, dude, we're not even halfway through this man's story.
Yeah, we're still in high school, dude.
Yeah,
this is an hour
awesome.
and 10 minutes.
This is awesome. Yeah, no, I'm pumped. This is great.
Oh, shit. But, shit, I can talk for hours, dude. I got all kind of stories, man.
No doubt.
But
I want to get like you and like Josh Moody in here.
Oh, me and Josh Moody. Do you know Josh?
So in high school, John Price.
Oh, yeah, I know John.
So John,
I don't think John likes me though. We're kind of like, look, people are opposites.
No doubt.
And I think me and John are opposites.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
that's a fair statement.
Used to, back when I was a dumb idiot.
Yeah.
I was just like, screw anybody that's not like me.
Right.
Now it's like, people are people, man.
Yeah,
and
we're
just
all
because somebody
human.
disagrees with something you do doesn't change that doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them different.
No doubt.
So now we're on different terms, and if me and John got together now, I think me and John would get along.
Yeah. So John was a senior when I was a freshman. He was on the soccer team, and if we had like a long time in between class and a game that evening, like we'd go to John's parents' house and they'd cook us dinner and we'd play FIFA or whatever.
Yeah.
And so Mamoodian would always pop up over there,
Yeah.
and he would always mess with me because I was an infant, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
And
he's a bully. He's low key a bully.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But like as I got older, and there's a very loving side to that dude.
Oh yeah, well, he's
a teacher.
He's teacher. Another thing, he's very religious.
Okay.
And which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that your relationship with God is something that's important. Because it's kind of, maybe this is just me, but going through life thinking that this is just some thing that randomly happened is pretty depressing.
Yeah, no doubt.
And if you're an atheist, sure, whatever, just don't believe in anything.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just think a relationship with a higher power, with God, is a very important thing. And Josh has me. I was raised in it. My grandfather was a preacher. My parents are very religious. I get Bible verses twice a day.
Yeah.
I have an uncle who's a preacher, and I don't want to say that it is so much that it pushed me away, but definitely, I guess my relationship with Christ has basically fallen apart in somewhat. And the reason why I won't pick up the pieces and get it back together is because I know the rules. I know how it works. I know what you got to do to be a Christian. And I know that there's things that I'm going to do that aren't what it says. And the fact that I know it and the fact that I still go against it makes me feel like I'm just being a phony.
Right. Yeah, and you don't necessarily want to be associated with that if you're not going to.
I don't want to be a fake.
One
thing that I want to be. I want to be a real person that's not trying to bullshit anybody.
I'm very much along the same lines in that I definitely realized that all this stuff didn't just pop up.
Yeah.
And there's a much bigger thing going on here than just me and you talking and all that kind of stuff. But I think if anything I've learned over the past couple of years, it's just, and you said it earlier with the whole John thing. It's just like people are people and people are real. And so are you. You're not something bigger than what people, like I made you out to be whenever I was a freshman or senior.
Just
you're
another
like,
normal dude.
Yeah. And, I think if you love people and don't be a racist asshole, things tend to go your way.
That's the thing, that people are our greatest asset. I mean, think of all the amazing things people have done, from, Isaac Newton to all the scientists, Albert Einstein, to all the great athletes. People, we did this. Like, we've moved on and created this world that we have today.
Sure.
Could we have done without a few? For sure. But I mean, one thing, and this is going to get into something that is definitely a polarizing subject and something that I think tears the country apart, is that I think about all these great people, and I think about how many of them have been killed through abortion and never saw the light of day. And these people are, I mean, it's into the close to 100 million babies. I mean, worldwide for sure.
Right.
But just in the U.S., it's close. And it's like, how many amazing people never existed because it inconvenienced you?
Yeah.
And I just feel like, like I said, we just talked about religion and God and God blessing you. I can't imagine how God can continue to bless a country that embraces this murder. And I get it. It's a woman's body and she's got to make a decision. But to say that it's not a person, I mean, yeah, I understand that a seed is not a flower, but I do know the process of how it becomes a flower. And it's still a living thing. Yeah. And that's another polarizing subject.
Yeah, for sure.
People will never ever come to terms with. Yeah. And I pretty much stopped arguing about it.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I've, especially here recently with it all being in the news and states and all that stuff. Yeah. It's something that I've gone back and forth on because, I'd like to, like I said, I like to stay kind of moderate, and I like to think that everyone should have their choice and limited government and that kind of deal. But, there is the whole, I guess my stance on it is like late term abortion is absolute total murder. Right. But like, I feel like if someone figures it out early enough and realizes that it is going to put them in a significantly worse situation than what they're already in. That's, I guess, I don't think about everyone's situations. I think about specific.
But pressure makes diamonds, dude. Yeah. Jocko, actually, I was listening to Theo's podcast this morning. Usually I wake up a little earlier just so I can kind of get my day started. Yeah. I listened to Theo, and Theo's this past weekend podcast, he gets a little emotional, and we'll have some pretty in-depth conversations. But a kid had called in, 22, knocked up his 19-year-old girlfriend. And he was asking Theo for advice. Well, he got Jocko willing to answer it. And basically Jocko was like, you see, this is the end of the world. This is your biggest responsibility, and it's going to make you a better person. Yeah. Because you have to be. Yeah. For the first time in your life, you have to be. You're 22, and from this point, you just went along with it. But, I get it, man. Like I said, people are going to disagree, and like I said, I don't argue about it anymore. Right. But I
think there's a bigger issue in that the people who are making the babies, like sometimes, like I just feel like sometimes ignorant people reproduce.
Well, and, I mean, here's the deal.
I understand that we can't control everyone, but
I mean, there are more African American babies killed in New York City than there are born. Like, it's like 55% of abortions are African Americans. Yeah. And it's just like, that's terrible. Yeah. And it kind of, it goes to a certain demographic, and that comes with, poverty and whatnot. And we've got to do better in a lot of places. And I don't have the answers. Hell, dude, nobody does, man. It'd be a lot easier if we just all stop arguing and get along. But yeah, man, we could go on forever about the problems.
For sure. Yeah. We'll have to have an episode where we talk politics and problems.
I'm telling you, I'm going to be a recurring guest.
No doubt.
I'm gonna go make a belt. I'm going to do it, and it's going to be Guest of the Year belt. Okay. I'm definitely going to win that. All right, no doubt. And then I'll probably get a recurring guest shirt.
Yeah, I need to invest in some shirts. Yeah. I'm trying to move some stickers right now.
I saw your Instagram post.
I had like 4 people respond like, dude, you're hustling. And I was like,
$6, man. Yeah. Not really hustling.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll end it there.
Cool.
And yeah.
Cool. What was that?
Almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours?
Yeah, a little more.
I think it was a little more. 2 hours and 5 minutes. Yeah. Of me. Yeah. Well, that's like double of anything else, huh?
Yeah, easily. I guess I had an hour and a half.
I had a lot on my mind.
No doubt. I'm glad you let it out. I mean, that was awesome.
Well, I felt like I had an interesting story to tell, and I felt like, you know, like I said, we've all had things where you had to make a choice that really changed the landscape of your life.
Yeah.
And I made one that was big, and I often think, if I hadn't done that, would I have just been a normal dude who went to Louisiana Tech and was in a fraternity and, you know, and just didn't play sports? And I think about all these amazing memories, and I'm like, you know, I've lived an extraordinary life because of my baseball career and how I got there, and I just can't think of a different life.
For sure.
So I think it was in the cards for me.
No doubt. I mean, I definitely am a believer in that everything happens for a reason, regardless if it's good or bad. So, hey, you know, you're here because you're supposed to be, and you'll be wherever you're at tomorrow because you're supposed to be there. So,
yeah.
Cool. Well,
thanks for having me on, man. I really enjoyed it.
This has been epic. I really appreciate it, and
Good deal.
We'll definitely have you back. So,
nice.
All right. Peace.
Later.